A reading from the letter of Paul to the Ephesians. Brothers and sisters, you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light, for light produces every kind of goodness and righteousness and truth. Try to learn what is pleasing to the Lord. Take no part in the fruitless works of darkness. Rather, expose them, for it is shameful even to mention the things done by them in secret. But everything exposed by the light becomes visible. For everything that becomes visible is light. Therefore, it says, "Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light." The word of the Lord.
Our second reading for this Sunday comes from the letter of Paul to the Ephesians. And the imagery presented to us in the second reading is that of light and darkness, which follows beautifully from the first reading about blindness and true sight or vision. In the first reading, we find Samuel being taught a wonderful lesson by God. What is true seeing? Seeing is truly acquiring the eyes of God. When we acquire the eyes of God, we can penetrate the deepest reality of something or someone or of an event. That is true sight, acquiring God's vision. That is very similar to what St. Paul tells the Ephesians. He tells them, "Be correct in your judgment of what pleases the Lord." Be correct in your judgment of what pleases the Lord. It is in knowing what pleases the Lord that we start living or existing in the light of the Lord. St. Paul tells the Ephesians, "You are light in the Lord." How do we become light in the Lord? How can we be taken out of darkness in order to be people of light in the Lord who is the supreme light? How can we be light in God, who is the true light, if we are able to see and judge what is truly pleasing to the Lord? So this is very similar to the message of the first reading. Who sees? Who is in the light? Only those who have acquired already the vision of God. Those who can approximate through discernment what is pleasing to God. And we know that what pleases God is justice, righteousness. And so a person who sees rightly and who becomes light in the Lord is the one who sees that justice, righteousness pleases God. And this person avoids darkness, which is the opposite of being light in the Lord. Who can avoid darkness? Those who avoid what is displeasing to the Lord. Sinfulness, rebellion. Being light in the Lord comes with being able to discern what pleases God. But the second reading pushes us a little further. It is not enough to see what pleases God. It is not enough to acquire a holy vision of things. We have to execute what we see in living action. Vision should lead to deeds. After seeing what God sees, it should lead us to actions of light. And it should also lead us to a denunciation of the deeds of darkness. So, dear brothers and sisters, there might be a blindness which is related to vision, but there is also a blindness that might be associated with deeds. And so we want our being in the light, people who see the light, and people who live in the light by making it holistic. I acquire the vision of God and I do what is pleasing to God. Only then will I be able to claim I have acquired true sight. I can see clearly, but it's not just seeing. I live in the light. And living in the light, I can spread that light of the Lord that I have seen and I have experienced. Be light in the Lord.